Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tuscany and today we are going to be working on part 2 of my Aragorn outfit, or Aragorn inspired outfit, whatever you want to call it. And I think that means his vest. So let's get into it. Alright, so his vest looks to be kind of like a suede leather thing. It's definitely supposed to be part of his kind of protection. I'm guessing it's a pretty sturdy fabric, but of course I didn't really want to do that. I did think about trying to go down like a leather route for this, but I don't have the tools for that. I don't really have the money for that, and I just wasn't really finding anything that I liked going down that route. So when I was at the fabric store, I found this faux suede that I think looks pretty nice. It's a deep brown, kind of a deep grayish brown. It kind of changes in the light, but I don't mind it. I think it offers a similar look to what he has. Of course, his is dirty and distressed and a wonderful costume, so there is that. But I thought this would offer me the look that I was going for, and I don't really like that it's synthetic, but I didn't really have many options. The fabric store that I went to did have real suede, but it was very expensive and they had it in a bunch of like weird colors, which I didn't understand. They didn't have brown. And I'm like, why? So I saw this, I'm like, it's cheaper. I don't really know where they get their suede products. That's also something that makes me a little uncomfortable. You know, it's kind of like either way, you could go faux or you could go real, and either way there's a problem with it. So I decided to just bite the bullet and get this one. Now, what I will say about this fabric is that it is very thin, and it has like a glossy side on the back, which is not pleasant to my rustic aesthetic. So I am debating on putting a lining into this. Purely to make it to cover up that shiny bit, because I don't want that showing, but also to make it a little sturdier so it acts a little bit more like his vest rather than like a flimsy, not his vest. So I was looking through my stash because I don't really want to go back to the fabric store, and I don't really have money to spend at the fabric store. So I found this fabric, which is left over from a project I did a while ago. It's just a simple quilted jersey fabric. It's very soft, very stretchy, very warm and comfortable. It is synthetic, not super happy about that, but I also, when I bought it, I wasn't as into trying to purchase natural fibers as I am now. So now I have this fabric, I don't really know what to do with it, and I actually think that maybe making this the lining would be a good option. Now it is pretty thick, but it also is very malleable. I don't have a whole lot of it left, but I'm hoping that it's just enough to make the vest. Now when it comes to the pattern for the vest, I'm actually going to use the tunic pattern that I made from last week's video. That's kind of just the look I want. It's going to make it an easy process because I already know that works. It went well, and now I'm basically going to be doing pretty much the same thing, but with no sleeves and with it opening in the front. Now I might play with the length a bit, and I'm also going to add in some visual details on the vest that will make it different from the tunic, and of course it's going to be a different texture and everything like that. So I think it will have some contrasting elements, but it will also suit the tunic really well in shape and form. So I'm going to go ahead and start on figuring out how I want to wash this fabric. Probably shouldn't be putting it on my face. All right, so when it comes to washing the fabric, I did a little tester, and honestly, I don't think it looks any different. Ignore this side because I actually tested some sanding on the suede just to see what would happen if I could distress it a little bit more. I'm still deciding on that, but when it comes to washing the fabric, it doesn't do anything to it. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this whole piece, get that over with, and then I can start cutting out the pattern. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to be a little tight on fabric. I basically need to cut out this side, and then I need to flip this over and do it again. And I am going to be just slightly under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this side, and then kind of do a piecemeal of extra fabric to get enough for the second side, which honestly I don't mind. It's just the lining. It doesn't need to be perfect or pretty, and honestly I'd prefer to use as much fabric as I possibly can. Hi, okay, so I went to the dentist today and got a filling, and half my face is numb. So talking is kind of hard, and I'm trying not to drool, so don't judge me. I got the front panels cut out of the lining, and this one is a hot mess, but you aren't going to see it. It's fine. And I already started putting in the darts on these guys. But then I realized that I actually want to use these as kind of the basis of the pattern for the final fabric, the suede. So I shouldn't have put in the darts. I did not get to the darts on the back panel because I realized what I was doing halfway through the process. So I am going to go ahead and cut out the final fabric. Get that over with, and then finish with the darts, and then get the two together. Yeah, okay. I should probably stop talking now. Oh, one more thing. I did make the back panel on the lining one solid panel, but on the outer fabric I'm going to make it 2 panels for a specific reason that I will explain later. Okay, bye. So I can feel my mouth now, so that's good. Bad news is I messed up. So I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, and I used the pattern, my paper pattern, to cut out the fabric for the front panels in the faux suede. And I forgot to add the length onto it. So it's a good 4 inches off. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm kind of tired. I think I'm going to take a break for a little bit, consider it. Maybe take a look at the pictures of his vest, because I feel like there is some weird, like, stuff going on his vest, and maybe it would be okay just to cut another panel and add it onto the bottom. part of me feels like that would look very strange, and another part of me is like, I don't want to recut this because I have enough fabric to recut it. I just feel like that's wasting fabric. I don't know. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break, maybe take a nap, and consider this. Hi. I managed to go in and take a 3-hour nap, but I'm feeling much better. And I think I've decided while I was sleeping that what I'm going to do with this is just do a patch job and add in a strip of fabric at the bottom. I don't think it's going to make it look bad, and I'd rather do that than waste fabric recutting it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Probably make some coffee, try to wake up a bit, and finish it up. Hopefully it's not horrible. Oh man, I am so happy I took that nap because I'm so productive now. Okay, so I got the lining fabric and the outer fabric sewn together. I did those right sides together. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a top stitch just to make sure that those edges stay in place and it doesn't get all wonky. But I'm going to do that by hand because I just don't think the machine top stitch look is good for this outfit. And then that's kind of it. Then it's like moving on to closures, which for this is not going to be like no bad closures. It's just going to be like some leather, which we'll figure out later. Alright, so I have the vest sewn together and the lining in, and I'm completely ignoring the armholes right now because I don't want to deal with it. Now it's time to work on the closures. Now there's a scene in the Two Towers when they're getting ready for the Battle of Helm's Deep, and you can see Aragorn tying himself into his vest. And that's kind of where I got the gist of how he gets his vest on. And then I went ahead and looked up some close-up pictures, and it looks like it's basically kind of braided leather that is done, like knotted into kind of a fancy knot that is sewn to the panels of the vest with some extra, like basically just straps of leather hanging over so that you can then tie it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try something along those lines. I got some leather that I need to braid to make it a bit thicker and to kind of match the design of what he has, and then figure out some knots and then sew it to the vest. So that's going to be some experimenting, and I think that's going to be the fun part. Honestly, my fingers are in some pain after hand stitching that because it's pretty thick and the needle doesn't like to go through the suede very easily. So fingers are not happy right now. But I think the braiding will actually be kind of relaxing and easy on my poor hands. So gonna go ahead and start on that. And honestly, the vest is almost done, except for the armholes. Just ignore that. All right, I have 2 of these little knots down, and I need to make, I don't know, like 10 more. They have a cute little design on the end and then knots down here just to keep it together. And then I'm going to put a little bit of fabric glue on these bits when I sew it to the actual garment. So I get to spend some time making the rest of these, and I'll catch up with you guys later. All right, so there's definitely some Medusa vibes here. But what I'm doing is actually collecting all the little ties, and then I'm going to soak them for a little bit to loosen them up and try to make them a little bit more, not this. I should have done this before I got them on, but I didn't. So I have just gathered them all into one little bunch, and then I'm going to dunk them into some like boiling water for some time. And hopefully that will make them a little bit more flexible so that they don't look like Medusa. Not that Medusa's bad. Medusa's great, but not what I'm going for here. Alright, so today is going to be my final day working on the vest. I got the armholes done. Those have been cleaned up today. Now I just need to work on one last detail. Now, at the beginning of this project, I mentioned that I'm going to be making the lining back panel one panel, but the suede is 2 panels. Now, I did that because I want to do kind of a cross stitch design on the back seam. And I did a long braid of my leather, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to do that design real quick. Shouldn't take me too long, and that will be the end of this project. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that so I can be done with it. Okay. I still have like indents from my pillow. Alright, part 2 of my Aragorn thing is done. I am actually so happy with this, and it is so comfortable and warm. I am happy with the lining fabric that I chose, partly because I didn't have to buy any more fabric, and I was able to use a fabric that I didn't know what I was going to do with. So there's a lot of things that I'm happy about there, but I'm also happy because it does make it very comfy and just like warm and cozy. So that I'm happy with. I'm also happy because it kind of weighs down the suede a bit. I definitely think if I chose not to do a lining, it would have been too light, and it wouldn't have looked the way I wanted it to look. Now, I'm really happy with the detail in the back, and I am very happy with the ties in the front, at least the way they look. They are a little stiff. I think that soaking them did help to loosen them up a bit, but they are still a little bit stiff. I kind of have to like form them once I tie them to make sure that they don't go all wonky. But I do think they look nice once they are placed properly, and I think the little details are just, I think they work, and they do kind of mimic his a little bit. Now his, I think, only had like 3 ties, but I am not a dude, and I require a little bit more help. So I wanted to do more, and I actually think that I want to do maybe 2 or 3 more at the bottom because I think I want to. Okay. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, I used my tunic pattern, so there wasn't really a whole lot of troubleshooting to deal with, and I didn't have to deal with sleeves, which is always a wonderful day when I don't have to deal with sleeves. Now, of course, I did mess up on the front when I didn't make it long enough, but honestly, I don't think you can even tell that I added in panels, like from a distance, you can't tell. And I made it uniform enough, like it's the exact same on both sides, that it looks like it was intentional. I think. I hope that's what it looks like. Yeah. And then I'm glad that I piecemealed the lining on the inside. Once again, I hate wasting fabric, so that was a wonderful way to use up fabric that I had, and you can't tell. Now, I will say that I feel a bit more hobbit / elf than I do rugged, sexy ranger from the north. But that's okay because I haven't been through many battles yet. So my vest is definitely cleaner and newer than his is. And I respect that. I did think about doing some distressing, as I discussed at the beginning of the video. And I was thinking about going through and doing some sanding on some areas of the suede, but I can't be bothered. In all honesty, I don't have much to say about it. I'm actually quite content with it. It didn't quite turn out how I pictured it, but then again, that doesn't really bother me. I really like the way it turned out, and I decided to not go with some of my original designs for specific reasons. Either it wasn't going to work or it would ruin the rest of the vest or anything like that. So I am happy with the path that I took, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's very comfortable. I can move in it, and I think it will look amazing with my Aragorn tunic. So I'm happy. I am very happy camper. I might go in later and add more leather detail, but for the time being, I'm very content. I'm good. I'm good. So there we have it. Part 2 of my Aragorn thing is in the bag, and I will see you guys next week for another installment, whatever that may be, because I'm really just making it up as I go here, guys. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed watching. Go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know which Lord of the Rings character is your favorite, or which Lord of the Rings race you want to be, or which Lord of the Rings race you are. Because I am most definitely a hobbit, even though I'm trying to be Aragorn. I'm a hobbit, for sure. Anyway, like this video or even subscribe. Stay sane, stay safe, and stay healthy, and I'll see y'all next time.